Hey guys, it's Mikhail, and I'm here to give my thoughts and concerns on the 2017 IAAF World Championships in London. Now, this World Championships, in my opinion, was terrible. Talk about upsets, disappointments, injuries, disasters. I can go on. It was so hype coming in due to watching the Diamond League. A lot of the top athletes around the circuit were just doing so well and just posting up impressive times. But when it came to the World Championships, they all choked, or it was just ridiculous. I've never seen such a major global championship end in such failure. There were just so many random winners and just very disappointing. To start off, let's just start talking about Usain Bolt. Now, I'm a huge Bolt fan. Bolt is, in my opinion, my favorite athlete of all time. I cannot believe that he did not retire after the Rio Olympics. That was where it all started for him, the Olympics. 2008, as we know, was his breakout year. And just to end off in the Olympics would probably be the greatest accomplishment ever. He was even talking about star athletes who end off their career on a high note. There's a lot of star athletes just end off careers in injuries and stuff like that. And in my case, Bolt should have done the same thing too. After the Rio Olympics, he should have called it quits. Now, he was talking about his sponsors wanted him to compete, which is great for Nike, to earn some income, but at the same time, this is a 30-year-old Bolt who's went through multiple years of back injuries, someone who's not really a dedicated athlete, as dedicated as some other athletes. And due to his height and stature, it's just crazy to see him compete with some of these young guys like Coleman and everybody else. But it's not always about the money. It's great to have money to be as rich as you can, but at the same time, you have to think about the X's and O's. This was a really competitive field. You had Coleman, who had the fastest time of the year. You had Gatlin. You had a lot of other athletes who were really posting up some fast times throughout the year. And just to see Bolt and his condition that he was in, he just didn't look good at all. And even though the time was slow, I felt that Coleman should have obviously won that race. There's no doubt in my mind that he should have won. I don't even know how Gatlin won. Because first, Coleman's a 21-year-old sprinter. He has the fastest time in the world. His starts are ridiculous. Still, I don't understand why he didn't win that race. Bolt was closing. If this was race with like 5 meters more, Bolt would have caught both Coleman and Gatlin. But unfortunately, he didn't have the start that he normally has, and due to Coleman's impressive start, he wasn't able to catch up. Now, let me talk about the opting out of these races. Now, as a sprinter, usually sprinters either attempt a 1-2 double or a 2-4 double, which we saw a lot in these championships. I can't believe Bowie, Thompson, Coleman, and a whole bunch of other people opted out of the 200. That was just plain out ridiculous. Now, I'm going to be a little biased here because I'm not not a huge fan of American sprinters, but I felt that Bowie should have competed. She had the fastest time in the world coming in. She was in a loaded field, and I felt like Elaine could have competed as well. She had a disappointment in the 100, which was really devastating, especially after her semis. She looked so good. Just to have her just completely falter in the finals was just ridiculous. Elaine, her start was not where she was, and it looked like she tweaked something in like last 70 meters of the race, or I don't know. But she could have redeemed herself in the 200. I don't know if it was a serious injury. I don't know what the backstory was there, but I mean, come on. This is a world championships. The top track and field athletes in the globe are racing against each other to see who's the fastest. This is not supposed to be, oh, one person opts out of this now somebody else wins, and it's just not competitive anymore. It's not what the viewers are living up to see. And I was just very disappointed that these athletes did not compete in the 200. They all focused on the one because they all wanted to defeat Bolt. They all wanted to defeat Elaine, which happened. But at the same time, what's wrong with not entering the two? Don't you want to solidify your position as the top sprinter in the world? And, that was just crazy, I did not like that. And I feel that if you're top rank in two events, and you know that you can potentially medal, you enter it. You don't just drop out just because I'm going to focus on one race, or I'm just so keen on working on this. I mean, I just found that to be completely ridiculous. Now, Jamaica, this was just a nightmare for Jamaica. Jamaica is one of the teams who excel in track and field over the years. I mean, what Bolt, Shelly-Ann have done for the country over basically the past decade was just phenomenal, But now, post Bolt and Shelly-Ann era, there should have been more. I expected a lot more for Jamaica, and I was very disappointed to see that the only medalist they had, the only gold medal they received was in Omar McLeod, which I thought had a fantastic race. I feel like he's just so dominant in those hurdles that no one's gonna defeat him in a very long time. That speed, that 100 speed that he has, that separates him from the rest of the field. Like, no one will defeat him, even though he has, in my opinion, one of the worst hurdling techniques. But once again, he's a force to be reckoned with in the future, and hopefully he continues. But who else? I mean, who was in the 100? The 4x1 was just so depleted. I mean, Blake, especially with Bolt, how he got injured in the end, this was just a sign that Jamaica just needed to look at these athletes. I mean, they have athletes. I mean, we've seen it in the Penn relays. They've had athletes in the country, but what are they training for? Sprints? I mean, I think that Jamaica should expand their track and field program, which they are. I mean, I saw a Jamaican steeplechaser, I saw a Jamaican in the discus and shot put, but I wouldn't rely so heavily on the sprints. I mean, they're just basically look like they're running off the talent, and talent can only take you so far. I hope this World Championships was a wake-up call for Jamaica, just to see how much the effect that not having two star athletes who've done so much for the country could fare. I mean, that was just ridiculous. I'm very disappointed in Jamaica. As you know, I'm Jamaican, so it's really sucks to see a country that you love so much do so terribly in a major championship competition. Now, the Kenyans also, I felt, had a very terrible outgoing. I mean, the steeplechase, I mean, I wasn't surprised Caputo was going to win. He was defending Olympic champion. There's no reason why he shouldn't won in the World Championships. But on the female side, I was very surprised. There was only one Kenyan that medaled, got the bronze medal. And that was just a ridiculous race. I mean, Jabet, I don't know what happened to her. She's very inconsistent, has not lived up to that world record that she posted last season. There's a lot of other Kenyans in the field that were just struggling. I mean, especially when the race first started, that one Kenyan who skipped the water jump, that was already a sign that this race was going to be bad. And I mean, I'll give props to Coburn. I mean, she works hard, She even set a championship record, so she deserved it. It's not like it was just a race where it was like a slow time, more tactical race. It was a fast race, and at the end of the day, Coburn matched them up. But I feel like the Kenyans just had a terrible outgoing as well. I mean, the 800, of course, Rudisha was out. For career, I really wanted him to. I thought he was the favorite coming in, but just due to his youth, that did not happen. That was not going to happen. The 1500 was pretty. I mean, the Kenyans in the 1500 did a fantastic job. I think that was their best event because they got 2 medalists in there. But other than that, the Kenyans just had disappointing just performances. I mean, I was very shocked to see that Kenya wouldn't be on top of the medal stands like they normally are. So I just feel like this was just ridiculous. Just so many upsets. I mean, I like when underdogs win, but there was basically every single person that was supposed to come here, the favorites, were disappointed. They were upset. They got defeated, and it wasn't like it was close. I mean, they got defeated by a margin. I mean, where can I start off with? There's just so many competition, like so many races I can even start off with. I was glad though to see Van Nieker do well in the 400. I was really gunning for a world record, but especially that he had to do that tough 4-2 double. That wasn't easy, and I can understand him pulling up in that time, and he still ran an incredible time. I mean, 43.98 with pulling up in like cold temperatures. That's ridiculous. The 200, I really wanted him to win the 200, but I could see as he was coming off that home stretch, like the last 40 meters, that he was just fatigue just settled in, and he wasn't able to win, and he fought for that silver medal. I mean, I just really didn't. I was just very disappointed because the Diamond League, there were so many promising athletes in the Diamond League, and just to come to the World Championships and just be as like a heavenly favorite and just completely falter, that's just ridiculous. I mean, Kenny Harrison, world record holder, still hasn't medaled in a major global championship, got upset, 4th place in the hurdles. I mean, where can I start? There's like a long list of competitors, and you know, this really just separates who can perform under pressure and who can perform when it matters. I mean, it's all nerves, you know, it's all mental with these athletes. The mental toughness that they have going into the race, the performance anxiety. I mean, we see in a lot of, it's not even just track and field athletes, it's just professional athletes in common. But I mean, some of these athletes have been on the circuit for a while, and just to see them crumble like that, it's just ridiculous. I mean, there's a lot of, the bright side of these championships was that we were exposed to like a lot of young talent. You know, the Jeremy Richards and the Trinidad sprinter, he looks like he's very promising. I see him excelling in the future. You know, I like the 400, the 19-year-old 400-meter runner from Bahrain, the female, who defeated Felix. She is another one with potential. So we saw some youth athletes who could really strive in track and field in coming years. I mean, there was some notable absences. I was very upset that DeGrasse couldn't compete. I felt like if DeGrasse was in there, that would actually been a game changer. I do feel like DeGrasse, out of all the sprinters, could possibly surpass Bolt in the near future. So it sucks to see him not in the 1 and 2. So I mean, I just was really upset. I mean, it's just, I felt like this was the worst World Championships I've ever watched in my life. So my favorite event though in the entire championships was the women's 1500. That was the only event I felt like it was open. It was an open field. Anyone could have won. Simpson, due to her experience and just in these competitive situations, she always figures out a way to medal. So I felt like that was just a very hyped run. It was just really that last lap. It was just crazy. So here it is. Those are my thoughts and concerns about the 2017 World Championships in London. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please subscribe.